Hello aspirants, I am Indumati Karthikeyan from Inkar IAS Academy. Today we are going to discuss about the 25th January current affairs, the topic taken from the Delhi edition. The topic is Myanmar conflict. The topic comes under our GS to India and its neighborhood relations. In this topic, we are going to discuss about the India's Myanmar conflict. What is the background of this Myanmar relation? What are the instability happening in the Myanmar relation? Rohingya issues, Chinese influence, economic meltdown, clashes with the various ethnic groups. What are the Myanmar role in instability in the northeast, and what are the instability in Myanmar will impact the northeast region? What are the challenge of instability, and what is the way forward? These things we are going to discuss today. First of all, why it is in the news? There is a India-Indonesia set to discuss the Myanmar conflict during the talks. This is a news today. A large number of Myanmar army personnel are fleeing to India as the battle with the military junta regime intensifies. The Myanmar army personnel crosses India-Myanmar border amidst tension. There is a military personnel which entered into the India and took refugees to the Mizoram in Longtal district after the camps were captured by the Arakan Army militant. The Arakan Army is an ethnic armed militant group will traces its origin in the western Myanmar state of Rakhine. The Myanmar is undergoing internal turmoil after these ethnic armed groups launched coordinated attack against the military regime. This is not the first time the refugees from Myanmar have entered into the India. Previously, the civilians and democratic activities had entered India to save themselves. There is a continuous influx of refugees set to create a new tension between the center and the state government. It would also hamper the India's diplomatic ties with Myanmar. Further, it could happen the regional ethnic balance and create more tension among the various ethnic groups at this region. First of all, what is the background of Indian-Myanmar relation? India shares a 1,643 kilometer border with Myanmar, making a gateway of the economies of Southeast Asia. It is also essential to India's active policy. It is state the Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Manipur and Mizoram shares their borders with Myanmar. And also we have the historical ties. India and Myanmar share a common Buddhist heritage. About 90% Myanmarists follow the Theravada Buddhism. That is, Myanmar was a British Indian province and was only separated in the year of 1931. Hence, there was many socio-cultural ties between the two nations. There is a deterioration of the India-Myanmar relation. Following this military coup, the 1960s India ties with Myanmar deteriorated as India condemned Myanmar's action. Indian origin Myanmarese nationalists were expelled as a result. There is a resurgence in relation. In the 1980s, India adopted an open-minded approach to deal with the Myanmar to cultivate good ties with the military leadership. First of all, India have many projects along with India and Myanmar. That is Kaladan Multimodal Transit Project. This project involved road, river, port, cargo transport project which connects Kolkata Sittaway port to Myanmar's Rakhine state and then from Myanmar's Kaladan river to Mizoram, and also Asian Trilateral Highway. The highway will connect India to Southeast Asian countries. It will begin at Guwahati and continue till Thailand through Myanmar. It will ultimately connect the Vietnam's Ho Chi Minh City. There is many instability in the Myanmar. First of all, the reason is the Tatmada rule. That is, a Myanmar military captured power through a coup defeat. So, to overcome the opposition of the army, that is, many of these politicians and protesters have crossed the border and all with India and took shelter to the Mizoram. There is a Tatmada rule. In 2021, the Myanmar military captured power through a coup. The defeat thus ousting the civilian government led by the Aung San Suu Kyi from power. Since returning the power, the Tatmada military has launched a crackdown against the pro-democracy protester MPs, MLAs and also ministers belong to the Suu Kyi ruling National League of Democracy. The Suu Kyi rule is a democratic party. Actually, many of these politicians have protested across the border with India and took shelter in Mizoram. The military junta has fluxed with muscles and but still losing territory to the ethnic armed organization and people defense forces that formed to fight the regime. To overcome the opposition of the army, they restored the use of the airstrikes on opposition territory and also which caused the food shortage, extreme instability and near economic collapse. So these give legitimacy for its rule. The military junta is planning to conduct a fair election so that they get voted to power. Citizens have opposed this idea. There is a many Rohingya issues. That is a Rohingya are ethnic Muslim in a minority group that is predominantly found in the coastal province of the Rakhine. That is Rohingya trace the route in to Bangladesh and were brought to Myanmar by the British rule. They have been facing protest from Myanmar's majority Buddhist population. In 2016 and 2017, the Tatmada as the local security forces carried out a campaign against the Rohingya, killing thousands of people and razing the hundreds of villages. Even after the Suki camp, the power government was forced to defund the military junta on international forums. After the junta returned to power, they continued their act of genocide. The Rohingya have formed various armed organizations to fight the military. These armed organizations have joined hands with the other ethnic groups to carry out attacks against the military. And there is many Chinese influence. China have always been close ally of the Myanmar's military regime. It has given the facto recognition to the junta regime. China considers Myanmar as a backyard and does not want other countries to be involved in its affair. The rampant support to the military junta policy was part of the plan. Under the Belt Road Initiative, that is a China constructing China-Myanmar Economic Corridor. The Rakhine State is to connect China's landlocked Yunnan province to the Indian Ocean. This is the main concern for the Chinese people. And also after the coup, there have been attack on several Chinese run factories. China is providing a military with arms to quell the protest. And also there is an economic meltdown in the Myanmar. After the first coup in the 1960s, the military rules rationalized and resource of the country that put economy under international sanction. Due to the autocratic rule, many countries have imposed sanction on the Myanmar. This has prevented trade of Myanmar's resources. Many foreign investors have already pulled out of Myanmar due to the significant constraint, civil unrest and foreign sanction. Poverty rate is expected to be double. There is a many clashes with the various ethnic groups in Myanmar. There is a coup in 2021. Ethnic armed group have been reluctant to cooperate with the military regime due to the various differences. The Myanmar National Democratic Alliance Army, that is the Arakan Army, and Tang National Liberation and form a brotherhood alliance to fight the army. These ethnic groups have opened war fronts across the country, mainly near the border with China and India. And also there is a many instability in northeast because of Myanmar's roles. But first of all, there is a porous border is the main concern. The border with the Myanmar is unfenced and it is porous. It is easily locals to move from one country to another without any appropriate route. This enables miscreants to escape the Myanmar after committing to crime in India. And also there is a availability of the weapon. The border of Myanmar is used to smuggle large number of weapons into the northeast region, especially Manipur. And also there is a funding through a narcotics trade. Myanmar is entry point for the narcotics entering into India. Many insurgent groups indulge the narcotics trade to earn money for armed struggles. And also many ethnic ties. The people of Myanmar share ethnic ties with the people of Mizoram, Manipur as well as Nagaland. These ethnic clashes will likely generate the support from across the border. And also there is an unstable government. The Myanmar has been under an unstable government since 1960s. This is further deteriorated after the coup 1921 without a stable government. There is a refugee influx. The influx of the refugee from Myanmar into the Manipur was one of the reason, and also it is a ethnic clashes between the Meiteis and Kukis. And also this instability in Myanmar definitely impact the India in many ways. First of all, there is a trade route. The India has invested heavily developing the alternative trade routes to northeastern states through the Myanmar. Any instability in Myanmar will put plans under threat. And also there is a peace. The northeast region in India achieved peace after a long phase. Any instability will definitely affect the northeast region peace. And also many armed insurgency. The armed insurgent group have come to the negotiating table and many have given up arms. Myanmar clashes could push insurgent into India. And also there is a refugee crisis, increased refugee influx from Myanmar. The ethnic politics, the northeast Indian state will also be impacted and also affect India's foreign policy. The continuation of the fighting Myanmar could affect the way that carries a transaction with Myanmar, and also many ethnic imbalance. There is a settling of outsiders from Myanmar could alter the ethnic imbalance and also thereby fueling the ethnic tension between the communities. India having many challenges. First of all, we need to seal the border. The biggest challenge of India would be seal the border with Myanmar because its arctic sentiment of the locals will share the historical ties with the Myanmar people, and also there is a maintaining peace in the northeast. India would want to prevent the escalation of conflict in the region so that it does not spread the northeastern states. Protecting the investment in the Myanmar. First of all, India has invested heavily in Sittaway port and Kaladan multimodal transit project. India will be eager to save its investment in this region, and also we need to maintain the relationship with the military junta. India has maintained good relationship with the military junta even during the previous rule. That giving the shelter to the Myanmar nation would not sit well with the military rulers, and also we need to uphold our democratic ideals. That is, a member of democratic club would have keep distance from autocratic military rulers, so else it would attract the wrath of the international community. And also we need to stopping the narcotic trade. The conflict of Myanmar has given rise to narcotic trade, as a trade will be used to fund the armed struggle against the military government. And also we need to reduce the Chinese influence, that significant influence over the military regime. India would not like to see the puppet regime in the backyard. And also we need to engage with other stakeholders. India must ready to engage with other stakeholders such as Myanmar and Bangladesh to arrive the solution. And also we have a foreign aid agency need to be convinced to handle casualties in the internal war. This will reduce the dependency of India. Thank you so much.